What's up, YouTube? Josh here with Cleveland Sports TV, and today we're going to be talking some more Cleveland Browns football. I know that's pretty much all this channel has really been about up to this point. Cleveland Browns football, Cleveland Browns football, Cleveland Browns football. However, that's not all it's going to be. We will talk Cleveland Indians, we will talk Cavs, Ohio State, sports in general, but the hot topic surrounding the city, surrounding the channel, is Cleveland Browns football. So that's what we're going to stick with. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about 5 players the Cleveland Browns should focus on drafting in this upcoming draft here in April. I did a video on this not too long ago, about 5-6 weeks ago, and it did pretty well. Probably one of my higher viewed videos on the channel. However, things have changed since then. Opinions have changed. The Browns signed offensive lineman Greg Robinson, so just things have changed since then. So this will be sort of like a 2.0 video, and we'll probably do a couple more leading up to the draft. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you like what you see. Subscribe if you want to see more Cleveland sports content. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Let's get to it. All right, so number 1 on my list, Devon White. You're going to hear me talk about this guy so much leading up to the draft. He's my favorite player in the entire draft. Middle linebacker out of the University of LSU. Sits at about 6'1", 240 pounds, and he is going to run a sub 440. This guy just flies all over the field. Reminds me a lot of Roquan Smith from Chicago last year. A dominant Mike middle linebacker, somebody who can just be at that position for years to come. Won't have to worry about him. You know he's going to be there, play at a Pro Bowl type level, a franchise guy. That is Devon White, and I think that's something the Browns are really, really lacking on this defense. The captain, the general. This could be the guy here. I know we have Joe Schobert. I love Joe Schobert, but I think he's more suited for an outside linebacker position. A lot of you guys may not know this, but Joe Schobert actually played edge rusher / like D end at the University of Wisconsin. So middle linebacker is not his strong suit. Has he excelled the last 2 years at middle linebacker? He has, but I think Devon White at the middle linebacker spot with Schobert, Kirksey, Anthony Barr, whoever they decide to add in free agency or the draft, I think is a much better fit. So we're going to start it off with number 1, Devon White from LSU. Let's move on here. Number 2, Dexter Lawrence out of the University of Clemson, or Clemson University, however they say it, you know. Plays defensive tackle, 6'5", 340. This dude is a tank. I think he would be a great complement alongside Larry Ogunjobi. You can throw him on that defensive line with Myles Garrett as well, whatever they decide to do in free agency. I just have this beautiful painted picture in my head that the Browns go out and get a guy like Trey Flowers, Frank Clark, Jadeveon Clowney, DeMarcus Lawrence, one of those big free agent defensive ends that we could see. Yes, I realize a lot of those guys could be franchise tagged, but if one of them were to hit the free agent market, I would love to add one of them. The Browns are going to sign one big money guy this offseason, which I hope they do. I hope they don't go crazy with their money. But if they do sign one free agent who's big money, I hope it's at the defensive end position or D tackle position. We'll get to the D tackle free agent talks here in a second. But let's say the Browns go a guy like Dexter Lawrence at D tackle in round 1. Imagine the defensive line with Myles Garrett, Larry Ogunjobi, 2 proven guys. Larry Ogunjobi just, he excites me so much. He's going to be a good one. Dexter Lawrence, and then Frank Clark, Clowney, Jadeveon Clowney, DeMarcus Lawrence, Trey Flowers, or whatever, would be an amazing defensive line. It would be an absolute huge upgrade from what we had last year. I think it would flip this entire defense around. I think we would go bottom 5 in the league against the run to top 12 in the league against the run in 1 year. So just imagine that, you know, Myles Garrett, Larry Ogunjobi, DeMarcus Lawrence, Trey Flowers. It would do wonders for this defense. So here's the second guy here, DeMarcus Lawrence, D tackle, 6'5", 340 pounds from the University of Clemson. Let's move on to number 3. A lot of you guys might recognize this name here, Draymond Jones from the Ohio State University. Defensive tackle, 6'3", 280. Really, really underrated guy on that defense last year. Really, really came on strong once Bosa went down, once the spotlight on Bosa kind of went away. Draymond Jones really stepped up to the occasion. Even though they do play opposite positions, this just seemed like the guy who really rose on that defense and just played his heart out. He's also a Cleveland kid from St. Ignatius High School. A lot of you guys might be familiar with that name, and especially a lot of you Clevelanders, one of the more dominant high schools in all of the country, let alone the state. And I think he would be a great fit for this defense. You throw him alongside a guy like Larry Ogunjobi, like I said, and it would just help out this rush defense, getting to the quarterback up to middle. Like I said, you're going to hear me say this throughout the year, guys, or throughout the year leading up to training camp. The Browns need to focus on that front seven, and specifically the defensive tackle and the edge rushing positions. So Draymond Jones would be a great fit for this defense. Would be exciting to see him, especially from Ohio State and a Cleveland kid. And not to mention, I do think he's going to go top 20 in this year's draft. Let's move on to number 4. One of my favorite non-front seven guys in this draft, Greedy Williams. I mean, what kind of name is that for a defender? You can't find very many better names there. So Greedy Williams from LSU, 6'2" corner, $182, so some pretty good size and length. I would like to see him get closer to, you know, the 190, 195 mark, which he probably will do. He's a young kid from Shreveport, Louisiana. You throw him alongside a guy like Denzel Ward or opposite of Denzel Ward, get yourself 2 lockdown first-round corners for years to come. Who can argue with that? A lot of people say, you know, the better your cornerbacks are, it'll help out your defensive line. It'll help out your edge rush because the quarterback won't have time or he won't, you know, have windows to throw it to. The quarterback's going to end up holding onto the ball, whatever it may be. But I do know one thing: the Browns need depth at the DB position, and it would not hurt to add a guy like this, a first-round, pretty much what people say can't-miss talent at the cornerback position. Throw him alongside Denzel Ward, and I would be a happy camper. And let's move on to number 5. Right, number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. I guess I have 6 on this list, so we're going to go with 6 guys the Browns could target in this year's NFL draft. Number 6, we have Christian Wilkins, another University of Clemson or Clemson University, however you want to do it. Another Clemson University defensive tackle, stands at 6'4", 297, another just absolute tank. He's from Suffield, Connecticut. One of those guys in that Clemson defensive line who you just know he's going to be a first-round talent, kind of a can't-miss first-round talent. And it just seems like Clemson's defense, and especially defensive line, every single year is just loaded with guys like this. I'm not going to have to go over this again, but you throw him alongside Larry Ogunjobi on that defensive line with Myles Garrett and potentially a free agent defensive end, and your front seven just improves so much. So another defensive tackle here. You're going to hear me say this throughout the year. Like I said, defense, especially that front seven in this year's offseason. And let's move on to number 6. The last guy on my list, I have A.J. Brown, wide receiver from Ole Miss, stands at 6'1", 225. So he's not like the gargantuan wide receiver that a lot of you guys want, but to me, this is the best wide receiver prospect in this year's draft class. I'll listen to you guys on DK Metcalf. I'll listen on Marquise Brown, N'Keal Harry, and so on down the line. But for me, this is wide receiver 1 in this year's draft. I've been saying this for about a month and a half now. If I had to pick one wide receiver, it's A.J. Brown. He just has that it factor. When the ball's in his hands, he makes guys miss. He reminds me a lot of Antonio Brown, and how his game is played. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Antonio Brown, but the two match up and are very similar to me, especially with that burst off the line of scrimmage, the quick feet, getting separation through his route, terrific route runner, and then when the ball's in his hand, it's see ya. So A.J. Brown, if the Browns were to go wide receiver or were to go offense in round 1, this would be my pick. I wouldn't be mad if they took a guy like DK Metcalf, because I just love that size. I love the body build he has. N'Keal Harry, even though I think Harry will be there mid-second round. Marquise Brown, I like Marquise Brown just because of the Baker Mayfield connection and the chemistry there. Not to mention Marquise Brown could be the fastest receiver in this year's draft. Well, the fastest top prospect receiver in this year's draft. But this is my guy, A.J. Brown. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. A nice short quick video. Top 6 players that the Browns could or should be targeting in this year's draft. I'm sure there's a few other guys I can put on this list or put on my board, but these are the guys I like. So don't forget to comment down in the comment section who you would like to see or who you don't want to see that I have on my list, or whatever it may be. Don't be afraid to share your comments or share your concerns. as that's my favorite part of this channel, is the discussion portion. So yeah, hope you guys have a good day. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and like I said, guys,
peace.